Remove the mask and discover your true self. Imagine walking down a crowded street, surrounded by many faces, each with different features. But behind every face, there's a mask. And you, just like them, wear a mask. Perhaps one you never chose, but one that was placed on you long ago. From childhood, we're taught how to be. Be polite. Don't talk too much. Do this to be loved. Hide that to be accepted. And slowly, we begin to build a personality that pleases others, but doesn't resemble us. We build a mask, crafted from expectations, fear, and the desire to belong. A mask we carry for years, until we forget we're wearing it. In this video, we'll dive deep into the self, to understand how we're shaped, how we lose ourselves, and most importantly, how we reclaim who we are. Let's start at the beginning. From a young age, the goal was never to be yourself, but to be good. Good in your parents' eyes, good in school, good in society. But good isn't always real. And each time you suppressed a feeling, a desire, a thought just to avoid rejection, you took one step away from your true self. Slowly, you became what was expected and not what you felt. You learned to smile when sad, to stay silent when wanting to scream, to say, "I'm fine," while everything inside was falling apart. That's how the mask forms. Elegant, tight, but suffocating. And the years go by. You achieve things, get a job, build a family, but something feels missing. Something unseen, unnamed. Yet it makes you feel like you don't quite belong in the life you're living. Maybe you notice it in silent moments around midnight, when the noise of life fades and you face yourself in the mirror. Who is this person? Is it really you? Or just a polished version of what others wanted you to be? And here awareness begins. Not a sudden flash, but a gradual light, like a soft glow seeping through the cracks of an old wall. You start asking hard questions. Why do I do what I do? Is this really my life? Who would I be without all the roles and masks? These questions aren't easy. They require courage. Courage to face yourself, to detach from expectations you've carried since childhood, to choose your true self even if it means losing things along the way. But the strange thing is, when you start letting go of what doesn't reflect you, you don't lose anything real. You become free. Free from chronic anxiety, from the constant need for approval, from the inner voice saying, "You're not enough." And for the first time, you feel light. You feel like you're returning to yourself, not to what others wanted you to be. You begin to see the world with new eyes. You start feeling a true sense of safety, one that comes from within, not from applause. You realize life isn't a race to please everyone, but a journey to discover your authentic self. And that the most beautiful feeling in this world is to be honest with yourself. But don't fool yourself. This path isn't easy. You will change. Your relationships will change. You might drift away from people you once thought were essential to your life. But that's natural. The closer you get to your truth, the more those who only saw you through the mask will fall away. And here comes the core question. Do you have the courage to be you? You with all your weaknesses and strengths, your light and shadows, your dreams and disappointments. Because true identity isn't built on perfection, but on honesty. It's not measured by what you own, but by your ability to be free on the inside. In the end, there is no greater success than looking at yourself and saying, "This is my life. I lived it as I wanted, not as I was told to live it." But let's complete the picture. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, called this mask the persona. a social facade we wear to protect ourselves from judgment, to belong, to be accepted. But the problem is, over time, the mask doesn't just protect us, it imprisons us. The deeper we sink into it, the further we drift from our real voice, from who we truly are. You might have achieved success, built relationships, reached places others only dream of. Yet at night, when the noise dies down, you feel you're not living your life, but a life designed by others. And that's where the real journey begins, the journey back to self. But it's not an easy one. It requires taking off the mask you've grown used to, facing parts of yourself you've denied for years, asking honestly, who am I without this role? What do I truly want? What am I doing just to please others? At first, you may feel lost because you've forgotten your true features. But if you're patient and keep diving deeper, you'll hear that quiet voice inside, your real voice. And that voice doesn't seek approval. It doesn't need applause. It just wants to be. Every person in this world carries a pure essence within, but we bury it under layers of fear, performance, and pretending. And all it takes is courage to peel back those layers one by one until you reach your truth. Freedom doesn't come from having it all. It comes from knowing who you are and being okay with it, without filters, without lies. So think now, how much of your day have you lived truthfully? How many times have you said yes when you meant no? How many times did you smile while exhausted? How often did you say what's expected instead of what you believe? These small moments are what shape your cage. But the beautiful news? That cage isn't eternal. Every honest moment with yourself is a step toward liberation. Being true to yourself, even if the world turns away, is better than betraying yourself just to be liked. Because in the end, you'll be left with you. And if you're not at peace with yourself, no success will ever bring you peace. This isn't a call for rebellion, but a call for honesty, a call to return to yourself, like birds returning to their nests. Within you is all you need to truly live, not just exist as another version of someone else's expectations. The journey back to self may be the longest road, but it's the only one worth taking. Clapperboard conclusion now added. And here I arrive with you at what seems like the end, or maybe the true beginning, the beginning of a journey toward your essence. Away from performance, away from the mask. Now I ask you honestly, do you dare to start this journey? Do you have the courage to face yourself, remove the mask, and live as your original self? Tell me in the comments, what's the most persistent mask you've worn in your life? What's one thing that never felt like you, but still ruled part of your life? Backhand index pointing down. If this video touched something inside you, don't forget to like it. And subscribe to the channel, because we'll continue diving into these depths that most fear to explore. And if you didn't like this content, tell me why, because I believe every honest opinion deserves to be heard. See you in the next video. And don't forget, life begins the moment you stop wearing the mask.